Indie games are cheap, like usually around $20. They're smaller scale. There's a lot more heart put into them because they don't have the corporate input like a lot of the AAA space does. They don't do the 3 different bundles. It's just, AAA is weird. We all understand the problem with that market, but I've went and compiled a list of every indie game I have found of this month to hopefully showcase the talent of these people. Also, I want to just say right off the bat, I don't play every indie game. There was a new indie game. There's probably like 10 indie games that come out every day. That's impossible. I'm purely showing you the indie games that I think were really good to play and I would recommend to people. Real quick, I did want to just keep this list simple in case something happens with an update. So early access aren't in it. Okay, so Hades 2, not talking about it. We all know it's one of the best, but it's early access, so we're leaving it out. These are only fully released games. Crow Country is awesome. It really does feel a lot like those older PS1 survival horrors that we all played. Basically, you play as this special agent that is searching for a missing person. And obviously, as she arrives to this park, it quickly escalates and you will, deal with these monster animatronics and just mutated beings. Well, yeah, I'm not going to explain the plot. It's a fun time. It feels exactly like the old Resident Evils. You solve puzzles. You have to backtrack a lot to get an item that you couldn't fit earlier. There's little save like typewriters. Yeah, it's a short time. You're not going to spend too long. I beat it in about 5 hours, I think. And it's only like $20. It's got this like cool PS1 aesthetic to it. So it's got like the Final Fantasy character, like player models. You can change the settings to play more like those older games or have like the modern shooter settings. You can even play it to where there's no enemies, to where you just explore the environment and read notes and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's unique. It's a really cool vibe to it, and I think you'll have a good time with it.
We are the Ninth Legion, the ultimate army of Rome. We are more powerful than ever, and we are ready to return.
Okay, there are a lot of turn-based games. I'm not even the biggest fan of them, but Legion 9 captured my attention through its entire runtime, which luckily is very short. It only takes about, I want to say 15 hours to beat, which doesn't sound too short, but when you compare it to these like turn-based RPGs, it is really short. I mean, look at Persona 5 or even the earlier game. I didn't even know beforehand that this was a sequel, so it does a good job there. But its older game took like 90 hours to beat, and I was not the biggest fan of it. Yeah, this game is really fun. It has some smaller systems, so in other games like this, you have like a large party of people to choose from to go on missions. You don't deal with that here because it is kind of like a spin-off, so it's only like 6 main characters, and you play as the undead. It's really cool. You're undead legionnaires. I don't know. I liked it. And again, it's only $20 and you can beat it in a weekend, so. Yeah, so roguelikes are really popular nowadays. Hades did a good job with that, I think. Hades 1 was phenomenal. My personal favorite is Risk of Rain 2. I think no other game has conquered that one for me. But yeah, so usually when you think of these roguelikes, you think of games like Risk of Rain or Hades. You don't think of a card builder like Slay the Spire did. But that's what we have here with Chrono Arc. It is a card deck roguelike, and you play as these anime characters, and you will choose which characters you recruit in your camp. You go on separate runs. It's a really cool time. It's been in early access for like 3 years from what I remember, and I think they've done a great job with it. I like the story, actually. The story is really good for an anime game. Usually these are, you know what type of story they usually have in these types of games, but it's actually really fun to follow. The gameplay, again, really is fun. I like these card builders. Ever since I played Marvel Snap, I've been a fan of them. The only problem I can say I had with this game is that it is easier than most, but that's subjective. Maybe someone else thinks differently. I just found that most of the combat's like a breeze. So that was kind of disappointing, but yeah, I don't know. It's a different experience than you'll usually find, and I feel like it needs the attention that it deserves.
The heir to a vast kingdom ventured forth.
Yeah, not much to talk about here. I am not the biggest fan of these like city builders. I like farming sims, but I'm just not too into these types of games. But it goes to show how cool this one is, because I, again, will recommend it. It's basically a city builder, but with like a Disney aesthetic, but not that like Disney farming simulator game. That one was kind of rough whenever I tried it. You also get like a happily ever after if you you can like have your lord romance another lord of another castle. It's got some fun mechanics. I won't lie, I haven't played much of it. I played for like a few hours. and I thought it was a good time. And if you like these types of games, you'd like it. I just, again, have to recommend it, even though I'm not a fan of this genre. I'm not gonna lie, this game is it's just kind of weird. I don't know how to describe it. It's just, it has this really cool PS1 aesthetic, similar to you know, what was the other one we talked about, Crow Country. It has like a VCR filter over it. Basically, you just walk around this like dystopian prison and you just cook with a self-heated frying pan with the best nonstick oil you'll ever find, and you just cook eggs with like other seasonings they add for the level. So like it'll be like cigarettes, meat. I'm not gonna, it's a very short game, I don't want to tell you all the seasoning. It's only like 2 hours long, but you get to hear their stories. It's like goofy dialogue. The whole point is like you're trying to get out of the prison. It should only run you about 2 hours. Basically, you'll have a zone, you'll cook for them, hear their stories. Once you cook for everybody in that zone, you go to the next one. It's very simple, small game. It's only like $10, and it's goofy. Why not? Just try it out. Oh man, this one, if this was in like a tier list ranking, which it's not, these are all just randomized, but if I was gonna like rank the games on this list, this one would be my favorite. It's so cool. Oh, I think there's a pattern here. I just like nostalgia bait. Basically, this is just Morrowind, but better in my opinion. I know that'll make people mad. I have tried to play Morrowind as a modern gamer, whatever the hell that would mean, and it's just not good. It's not playable. It's very hard to get into. This is basically that. You've got dialogue options, which I'll admit, they don't branch off too much. There's not much there. It does, again, Bethesda, right? But it's got like the old Morrowind aesthetic. It's like a grand tale. I love the graphics. I love the art style. The gameplay is really fun. The combat's actually really smooth for like this type of game. And yeah, if you're a fan of these older RPGs, it's a must play. And like I said about Bethesda earlier, I mean, you can tell it's inspired by them. You even start off as a prisoner like every Skyrim game. So yeah, if you like the idea of playing these retro games with character building and modern controls, then it's an easy recommend. Just go check it out. Yeah, okay, this game, it's just a simple boomer shooter. There's not much else to talk about here. I like the 90s anime aesthetic the characters have. The story's just a story. It's not anything special. It's just a fun time. I don't know. That's all I can really think of. You're basically just playing an anime, a 90s anime inspired by Doom. That's all there is to it. It's a fun time. All these modern boomer shooters are really fun to play. It's also got this like cool roguelike twist in a way to where like if you don't kill somebody every 8 seconds, you'll die and restart. So it keeps the action flowing very fluidly. And yeah, I don't know. It's just cool, dude. I don't know. Just play it. I love rhythm-based games. All these indies have like these interesting art styles, dude. Just look at it. You play as a bounty hunter chasing down, his bounty. It's got great music. It's also got the roguelike elements, so whenever you replay a mission, you'll have a new arsenal of weapons you'll have to use for the mission now. It's even got like the music editor from Beat Saber and Guitar Hero back in the day, so you can add your own rhythms to play the game to. It's very cool. I don't know. Look, you'll just have fun. It's a fun time. Play it. That's the whole list. Is just have a fun time and play it. Why are you listening to me? Yep, it's another farming sim. What can I say? I like farming sims. I like Mass Effect. It's a farming sim set in space, dude. The game is just sick. I don't care. The story's been neat so far. I haven't personally beaten it. I'm 10 hours into the game, haven't beat the story. Farming sim wise, I think the stories are fine because it's in space. I'm not gonna lie, that's the biggest reason why it's here. But the characters are all interesting. It's got cool alien designs. You will explore planets while your main base is on the ship where you'll farm and stuff, and you'll find like new materials on these planets for the missions. You can find eggs that'll hatch into like aliens that you can train as your pets. I don't know, it's just, as a big sci-fi guy and as somebody that likes farming sims, I like it a lot.
Truth is an ugly mistress, but I ain't no ugly duckling.
This game is the definition of a perfect indie game. You play as the duck detective, down on his luck after his divorce and addiction to bread, but he's finally getting the chance to get it back in the game whenever he gets his phone call to solve a missing lunch crisis in this office. It sounds like a goofy premise, but the writing actually does deliver. It does have this detective noir like writing. It's not like that goofy Marvel writing. Even though it is a joke, the writing's just fun, man. It's actually like clever. I know a lot of people hate on runtimes for these kinds of games. I get it in a way, but I would much rather have a fun 2 hours than a bad 10. I think it's all subjective to how you value your time. But yeah, if you are okay with that, then I recommend playing this game. It's a fun story, and it's only like $9, so you're not really losing out on much.
One of me.
No, heal.
Yeah, fine.
If you like management games and sci-fi, then this game's right up your alley. I don't really have time to enjoy these types of games anymore, but for the first few hours that I put into the game, I've had a good time. You essentially run this hospital in space as aliens and humans alike will come to you for help. Obviously, you're running a hospital. Again, I haven't had much time to enjoy it like I would like to, but if you play these management games, it's a pretty easy recommend from me. So this game's more interesting to me for its potential than anything else. But I mean, obviously it's still a fun game. That's not the only reason I liked it. In this game, you will customize your player, team, and hometown before joining a club playing the football games to win the championship. The story is super basic, so not really anything there, but it's still fine. You know, the soccer gameplay is also just fine. It's a good blend. It's a fun time. I liked it. And if you like the soccer gameplay enough, you can actually set it up for a local 4-player co-op, which is always a plus. Come on. The storyline will basically just have you managing your team's formations, sponsorships, and playstyles in the town, and then you'll swap over to the soccer gameplay during the matches. Simple premise. I like the game. It's only $12, and it's one of the better titles to enjoy on a Steam Deck, in my opinion. Okay, I do want to say this before we do the last one. There are a lot of indie games, like I've said before. You will have some you liked. I've either played it and didn't like it, or I just haven't had time to play it. So, you know, don't get mad at me for not mentioning your favorite game here. Also, who cares? Hey, editing Cody here, I guess. But I accidentally skipped like an entire page. I'm not gonna go through it all now. I really liked Pine Hearts. That was one that came out. It's a really cool game. You should check that one out. The other one was Capes. I think Capes was really cool. I like hero shit. I haven't played the Marvel game that does this, but I thought it was a really interesting concept. You should check that out. But it could have been better. I'll be honest. It's not the best, but it was still fun. And RKGK. I don't know how to say the full name. I'll have it on here too. I think it's severely underrated right now in the indie category. I don't know how it's not on the higher tier right now, but it was really good. I guess I skipped over it. I'm kind of part of the problem. It's a really cool game. It's very video gamey. It kind of reminded me of like a Sunset Overdrive kind of way. Not in the gameplay. It's like very arcadey. It's just fun. I really liked it. I'm not even a Metroidvania guy. Nine Souls was fucking sick. Nine Souls is such a cool game. The art style was awesome. Check it out. It was so fun. I don't know. I hate that I skipped this whole list, but it's too late for me to add them in, so I'm just adding them now. That was another good one. So my bad. But yeah. All right. The last game on the list is this one. Yeah, anybody interested in the indie scene right now would have known that this was going to be the biggest recommendation. It's a fan-made Mario Kart game set in the Bloodborne universe, and it's free to play, which is wild. Now, in case you're worried about the game getting shut down while I'm saying this, it's actually not in Bloodborne anymore. So they got contacted, and they were allowed to keep the game after showing it off, but they had to remove all of the Bloodborne connections. So now it's called Nightmare Kart instead of Bloodborne Kart, but just looking at it, you can tell it's still Bloodborne Kart, okay? It's got all the characters, they're just all renamed. It's fun. It's fun. I don't know. I don't even like the Souls games, but I think this is just such a sick game. It's got a good selection of racers that you'll recognize if you played the games, 16 different maps, a full-blown campaign mode with actual boss fights. It even has like a versus mode for you and your friends. It's just a great nostalgic looking blend of Twisted Metal and Mario Kart, and the fact that it's free even after rebranding it is insane. I don't know why they don't just charge for it. It definitely deserves money. And I have no doubt that you'll be seeing this game in some people's top 10 lists of the year. It's that good. And it's one developer from what I can tell. Honestly, my favorite game of this month. So yeah, a ton of great indie games this month. Way more than I could cover alone, obviously. Like I said before, these things were releasing like daily, dude, like in batches. I don't have that kind of time. This is something I do on my off time. But I do think it's important. I like playing indie games. They're usually always fun, but you know, there are always obviously a lot of bad ones. So I just wanted to compile a list of games that are for sure just a good time, in case you're somebody that's more picky with their free time, I suppose. From what I can tell, there's also going to be some big games in June. Maybe I'll cover it in another video like this. I don't know. We'll see. Also, like I said before, I obviously missed a lot of games because of time. So if there were some games that you think should have been here or you know are coming next month, you know, talk about it in the comment. Also, this one's a bit more about the channel. I have been really inconsistent. I know, you know, I moved. I've been batch writing a lot of videos, like bigger ones. So that's what that is. But I am trying to focus more on it because I do want to take it seriously. So prepare for more videos, I guess, if you even care. Probably not. But all right, that's it. Bye. Yo, if you liked the video, or honestly, even if you didn't, it'd be cool if you liked it. Also, if you want more videos like this in the future, you can subscribe down below. All right, well, I should go.